Well, bowling fans are back from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha, the 2014 Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship Tournament. And, Joey, kind of a changing of the guard today. We've seen on a lot of shows this year, bowlers in their late 30s, early 40s, 50s coming out there. Ed Krug, 57 years old, wins himself a title. The mixed doubles today, lots of young guns out there.
Yeah, our only experienced player, Tony Roventini, and he's still reasonably young at 44 years of age.
Yeah, going to be some great bowling out there. Mixed doubles matches, Baker-style format. They're going to be alternating frames out there today. 2 semifinal matches leading to that championship and the $1,000 first-place check. Joe and I will be back from Sunset Bowl in just a moment to get you started with that first semifinal match.
With 24 state-of-the-art lanes, plenty of pool tables and dartboards, and great food and drink at Sporty's Bar and Grill, Sunset Bowl in Waukesha is your #1 place for fun. Sunset Bowl, the site, the 2014 Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship. Our leading qualifiers here, Katie Zwiefelhofer, Ryan Zagar, leading things off. They got to bye through the semifinal round since they like qualifying, averaging just over 218 as a team.
So scoring pace a little bit lower than maybe anticipated on Middle Road, which isn't that tough a pattern.
No, but with the quality of bowlers that we had, it started playing a little snaky on them. Once the lanes opened up later in the day, we did have a couple of 300 games, one by Ron Wallenkamp Jr. and another by Chris Pearson. So they each got a nice $50 award from Essential Bowling Concepts and a nice commemorative pitcher and glass set from Sunset Bowl. So we want to thank the Hainan family for throwing a little bonus in on those 300 games for those bowlers. Katie starts with a great strike. Natalie Cortez out of Hoffman Estates starting it off. Her and her sister Amanda both bowled today. Both great collegiate players back in the day.
Now, watching our 2 opening shots, both Katie's and Natalie's here, the back ends do not look real clean or, let's say, dry, where there's a lot of friction present. Almost looks like the ball is laboring a little bit in that last 20 feet of the lane. That could have kept the scoring pace down as well.
Yeah, just a little bit. And these Brunswick lanes here, they're not a higher friction surface such as we see with the AMF synthetic lanes, and an open frame there for Natalie.
Yeah, and she kind of hit it right where you're supposed to, just right of the 2-pin, and a little bit of deflection, and lo and behold, 2 out of the 3, open frame.
Yeah, I always seem to have problems with a 6-pin when I leave that mirror version of that, the 3-6-9 for myself being a lefty. And I can get the 3 and the 9 out. That 6 always seems to be an issue sometimes. Tony Roventini, we saw him last year bowling with Lindsey Siegel in this event, finishing in 2nd place, looking to improve on that this year with Natalie Cortez.
Right, and Tony and Ryan both, they have the best theory when it comes to missing spares. Don't leave any. Tony, known for his 900 series, shot a number of years ago at Classic Lanes in Greenfield.
Yep, shot in 1999. I was on a Monday night. I was there for that event, bowling in that great high rollers league they used to have there back in the day.
Right, Ryan Zager, I would assume a collegiate All-American player out of Robert Morris University.
Wow.
He got some back-end hook there and chopped the 5 right off the 8 and leaves himself 9. Should be no problem with the conversion, though.
Yeah, Ryan bowling for Robert Morris University out of Chicago. Another great year for them after winning the Intercollegiate Team Championships last season. #1 ranked team in the nation again this year, even with losing Marshall Kent to the PBA Tour.
That's not easy to do. Maintain that #1 ranking and losing, it's like the Packers losing Aaron Rodgers.
And still finishing on top of the NFC North Division. Great cover there by Ryan. Knows that's just part of the game. You're going to leave a cold 8 or a cold 9 pin here or there.
Right, and it's not always the results that bowlers should look for. They should look at the process, and I think Ryan executed the way he wanted to.
Katie, on our last show, you saw her wrap up that Wisconsin Women's Open title over Charlie Bolter out of Oshkosh. Charlie bowled with Gail Myers Jr.,
one of Madison's finer players.
And I think definitely going to be a USBC Hall of Famer very shortly, and a stone 9-pin there for Katie.
We see Katie definitely made an adjustment off her opening shot. It looked like she moved both feet and target to the right and definitely caught some friction and no deflection. There's a lot of ways to get 9 in this sport, and many more ways to get 9 than to get a strike.
Yeah, and it seems like sometimes the best shots we throw are the ones that leave those single pins on the deck for us to shoot at for spares. Nicely done there by Katie to cover it up. Keeps her team out to an early 10-pin lead.
Let's see if Natalie can get the first double of our match today. If she make a little adjustment off her opening shot, which came a little light.
Yeah. 300 games to Natalie's credit. A high series of 802. Does a lot of her bowling at Beverly Lanes across the border, and there's our first double, Joey.
Yeah, good shot. Still hit a little bit light, but finished stronger than her opening shot.
So Tony Roventini, he's one of those bowlers now, I think. He's only 44 now, but I think the year he turns 50, I think he's going to be a first vote induction into the Wisconsin State Bowling Hall of Fame. 8-time state champion through various events. Also, he's already in the Greater Milwaukee Bowling Association Hall of Fame. 5-time city champion, and he has a PBA regional title to his credit as well.
Good shot there for Tony. Kind of taking the scenic route, swinging it out and in. And one of those state titles Tony got knocking off my partner, Dennis Jarris, and myself. Back in, what year was that? Oh, the memory's not so good, but a while ago, Dennis and I had a small 1500, and Tony and partner, I believe Scott Swosinski, shot a small 1520 and knocked us off.
Just to scoot by you. Ryan Zagar looking to get his team back on track after a couple of spares. Cold 8-pin first time up on this lane, and a much better result for Ryan on that shot.
All right, and the natural adjustment from a cold 8 is to move your feet slightly to the left because you need some deflection. Ideally, the ball should hit the 159 as it enters the pocket, or we should say the 1359 as his did.
See what Katie can do here to get the first double for her team, getting into our first commercial break of the day.
Katie also should move in just a touch as not to leave a 9-pin, and she didn't leave a 9-pin, but rang a 10.
A little bit of a wrap 10 there. You can see Katie nice and low at the line, very athletic. I know she played tennis when she was a high schooler at Racine Park, where she also won a state championship bowling title for that school when she was there. To go with her 2013-2014 NCAA Division III Player of the Year award. Looks to cover it up nicely, and she does. First commercial break of the day on deck. Join Joe Serrar and I back from Sunset Bowl for the rest of this opening match in just a moment. Halfway through our opening match here from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha for the Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship. Natalie Cortez, Tony Roventini with a slight 1-pin lead.
And I would give them a slight edge in the second half of the match because their shot to the pocket and ball going through the pins just seems a little bit better than what we're seeing from Katie and Ryan.
Yeah, you see Natalie's ball right there. Very straight line, playing it just outside of third arrow. Not a lot of revs on that ball, but it hit like a truck and got all 10 pins back in the pit.
Well, they don't keep track of how many revs you put on a ball, just pinfall.
And the pins don't know your gender, especially out here today. There were a couple of teams, I know, with Ryan and Katie early on. Katie put a couple of games together to move them up the board and get them into that leading qualifier position, so they got a little time off before getting out here on TV. Shouldn't have affected them too much. They get to practice, and how about that for getting the 8-pin out?
Good break there for Tony and keeps the string alive.
Yeah, 5 in a row for Team Cortez Roventini, and almost pocket 8-10. Could have easily been with that pretty excessive entry angle Tony's using right now. But it's a great way, if you hit light, to get those pins dancing around on the pin deck.
Now, Ryan knows they got to start now because they're down a number of pins.
Down 30 pins right now, and even with a double here in frame 6 and 7, that only cuts that lead down by 10 pins. And he did his job there on lane 4.
Perfectly done. I think Ryan is dialed in, or Ryle is dialed in.
Ryan Zager throwing a lot of tournaments lately. I know he's now a member of the Columbia 300 amateur staff and has a couple of tournament victories under his belt. We see Ryan putting some ball test videos on the internet on his Facebook page here and there.
Yeah, he's liking the new mad antics and crazy antics he's had good luck with.
Katie using...
Yeah, a little bit long and soft 10-pin for Katie. She's not pleased with that. She knows every tap is a dagger, costing them 10 more pins, 10 more pins. Yeah, a little bit too much deflection upon entry.
Yeah, that 6-pin just fell down dead in the gutter. Didn't want anything to do with that 10-pin, and now cover the spare, and it's pretty much you have to hope your opponents make a mistake when they're already out there working on 5 in a row. Odds are that's not going to happen. Nicely done. Still a 30-pin lead for Cortez and Roventini, with Natalie Cortez stepping up in the 7th frame. Want to make sure she thanked her sister Amanda, who also bowled the tournament today, George Hall, her ball driller, and her loving dog, Buster, who she likes spending time with when she's not out on the lanes. And how about that? 2 8-pins we've seen now on lane 4.
Right, and considering how straight Natalie is going with very little entry angle through the pocket, she still sees no deflection when needed. Tells you she's getting good heavy roll on the ball.
See her partner back there, Tony Roventini, just going, that's not the time for this. Going to move over a little farther right in the lane. Right over that strike target, hooking into it, and no problem covering it up.
Right. Most bowlers may not move any on the approach if they throw a little bigger hook, because as your ball would enter the 1-3, if it's hooking, say, a moderate amount, 4-degree angle, it will just head right toward that 8-pin.
Well, 225 maximum for Zwiefelhofer and Zagar. For Roventini and Cortez, they can get themselves into the 250s still if they can strike out. So Tony looking to get his team back on track after that bad break. 5 steps to the line. A little flip, the little fall off to the left, but no problem getting 10 down.
He gets that Roventini pin carry there.
Well, you don't shoot 900 without getting a couple of good breaks, and you know the last 3 or 4 shots he threw at Classic Lanes at 90 shot 900, the whole center had stopped. There were guys standing on pool tables. I was standing on the bar to get a view. I've never seen 4 more perfectly packed shots than I did that night. He definitely deserved to finish off that 900 in style.
So was that the 3rd or 4th sanctioned 900?
That was the second sanctioned 900.
One of the early. Jeremy Sonnenfeld being the first.
Exactly. Well, and then there's still, you could have the Glenn Allison debate until we all are old and gray and in the grave, because a lot of people still give him credit for being the first one to shoot 900 back in the 80s.
I'd have to give him that nod.
I would as well. I know we can't go back in time and throw a 900 ring at him, but I think he's got more publicity out of having that turned down than he ever did having it approved.
Well, he bowled in it. It was a couples league, and I believe it was a second shift league, and he used the yellow dot with the semi-fingertip. And
he didn't even have 600 when he bowled on the first shift on a different pair in the house. That's the most amazing fact of that as well. To go from shooting under 600 to moving to another pair and shooting a perfect 900 series, and that 10-pin conversion far from perfect for Ryan Zagar, and that's really going to put his team in a big hole.
That's something we know Katie would not have done, since she never misses spares in a TV.
Well, Katie had to make that big 10-pin in the 10th frame. That got her the Wisconsin Women's Open title on our last show.
Now let's see if the half of ZZ Top here can catch her strike. Zager and Zwiefelhofer. It's kind of a better 10, but still another 10, and Katie's pin carry not so good today.
Yeah, that deflection you'll see on the replay here once again. Watch that ball finish almost on top of the 9-pin, and when you get those pins moving too far right, going around the 10-pin.
So when you throw your best shot, like Katie just did there, I mean, obviously the ball's not going to get better with going through the pins. You almost have to make a ball change, but in a one-game match, oops, I put the cloud over Katie, and she missed the 10-pin, but it was in a kind of a non-important situation, so...
Yeah, in a one-game match, I probably would move my feet maybe a half a board more to the right on the approach, just to try to get it to square up to the pocket a little bit sooner.
So you would move right, or you would move left?
If I was Katie, I would have moved right.
If you were Katie.
Being left-handed myself, yes, I would have moved slightly left on the approach.
You are far from Katie, though.
Well, especially in talent as well, no doubt about that. With that strike, Natalie Cortez locks up the match for Roventini.
Yeah, they have a potential...
258.
My math is correct. 258, a lot of wood.
Well, and it's always good. Now they're going to have to sit on the sidelines while they wait for the second semifinal match. And how about that
Another
again?
8-pin.
You know it's your day when you're tripping out 8 pins as a left-hander, when you got that head pin coming back across the deck. And
But that would
Play the
almost lead
messenger.
one to believe the pins may be slightly off spot, but not when you see righties and lefties almost leave 8 pins.
no doubt about that. And Ryan getting up, just finishing out the match for his team. And, you know, a great day for both of them. They take home $400 for their third place finish today. I know they got some money out of some of the side events here as well during the qualifying portion of the tournament. So, little Christmas spending money, I think, for those two. Another great shot there by Tony, spinning pins around on the deck.
Watch Ryan's physical game, his approach here from the side view. Used to have that ball over the head. Now he's about a foot or foot and a half less high on the backswing, if that's possible.
Yeah, he used to be past vertical on that backswing back when we saw him bowling in high school and early in his collegiate career, but working with Dale Lehman at Robert Morris and Mike Dole at Bowler's Mart down at Rockford. I know he's made some changes to his game, and insignificant 3-pin for Tony Roventini there for $257 for his team. Ryan just trying to finish this off. $176 for Zagar and Zwiefelhofer. They're going to take him that $400 third place prize. We'll be back with our second semifinal from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha, the 2014 Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship. Coming back in just a moment. First semifinal match in the books. Natalie Cortez, Tony Roventini advancing to the championship match against the winner of this match, Samantha Kelly, Eric Fritton. Starting things off, Samantha Kelly on lane 3 here from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha.
Hard to pick a favorite in this match. Two evenly matched teams, some good young talent.
Samantha, another product of the great Robert Morris University program that Ryan Zagar is a part of as well. Gets that ball out to the right, faces up perfectly for a strike.
Yeah, that's a great opening shot, and you could just see the heavy roll that ball got in midway down the lane. Our opening look at Ashley Bell, Menominee Fall favorite, 22 years of age,
Recent graduate and teammate of
Katie Z.
that we just saw. So
And I must mention, Katie Z is my best friend, as she has on her bio sheet in bold, large letters. So we won't neglect to tell the world, Ashley.
yeah, well, Katie and Ashley, both graduate assistants, helping out still with that UW Whitewater women's program. They helped that team win the Titan Invitational back in November up in Oshkosh, while the varsity team was at another event in Missouri. Katie and Ashley took the junior varsity women's team up to Titan and won that event. So great coaching by the graduate assistants.
Ups for the spare ball, cross lane, and we may be seeing a little bit of breakdown on the pattern here as that ball finished rather deep in the pocket.
And our first look today, and in a while on TV, for Nick Crummell. Nick, of course, is on a lot of our Youth Challenge Series events when he was a little bit younger. Now still a member of the UW Whitewater men's bowling program, but bowling in adult leagues now and learning a little extra money for the parties at Whitewater, apparently, instead of the scholarship money that we used to give them.
Phil, these kids don't party at all.
Great shot there by Nick Crummell. First time we've seen him on TV in a couple of seasons.
Got a nice soft hand at the bottom, good heavy roll. Kind of has a similar roll to what we see Ryan Zager have.
Yeah, and Nick also a collegiate All-American the last 2 seasons at UW Whitewater.
Now we get a look at probably the area's hottest lefty right now, Eric Fritton, who almost leaves a solid 6'8".
Yeah, needs to go to the Tony Roventini School of Tripping 8 pins, apparently.
Eric definitely doesn't leave much in the bag. He torques it up at the bottom, and no shortage of hitting power there, no deflection at all.
Yeah, and with that power, 8,300 games is pretty easy to see with his long bowling career he's had already.
Well, 80 and counting, and he's probably got about 80 more left in him.
Oh, easily with his only being in his mid-30s right now. I want to thank all the support we get from the Spare Time Bowling Radio Show on Sunday mornings 9 a.m. Myself, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, and your Pro Shop Drilling,
Yeah, our
Dwight
friend
Albrecht.
Dwight Albrecht, yes. Been doing that for a number of years now. Does a great job on it.
See what Samantha Kelly can do here to get her team back striking. Pack the pocket in frame number 1.
If she makes a little move in, and then she packs it again, and it looks like she may have cheated her feet in a little left there. Ball kind of held pocket in the oil.
Yeah, Samantha definitely low at the foul line, gets that nice deep knee bend. Gets the ball slightly on into the lane, not a lot of loft, and a strong roll early, and that helped her get all 10 pins down on that shot.
Now, that was a good video of her ball roll. I mean, all balls go through 3 phases. Skid phase initially, then they enter that hook phase, and in the last 15, 20 feet, they should be in the roll phase to maximize pin carry.
Yeah, she needs to play in that tight line that we saw similar to Natalie Cortez in the first match. Covers that nicely.
Now, in fact, some bowlers confuse the roll phase into where they call it hook out or roll out, but you want the ball to be rolling through the pins to optimize pin carry. Highest rev rate you're going to see on your ball is in that roll phase. Now, it's not to say it can't strike in the hook phase, but typically your pin carry won't be quite as high percentage-wise.
Yeah, and if the ball's still hooking, it's probably going to deflect just a little bit as well. Get that nice strong roll on it like you see with Nick there. You see the initial hook move, and it just sets right up in the pocket as you talked about, Joey.
That was a thing of beauty to watch. Nick, an author of a bunch of 300s, doesn't even put how many down in his bio sheet. Fine high series of 821.
Eric Fritton.
Well, Eric has a nice high set as well. A little higher than 821, I see.
880 did that a few seasons back at Blue Mountain Bowl. Just a single pin spare in the second frame of the second game prevented him from reaching that coveted 900 mark, and he gets his team the first double of the game.
Yeah, and in mid-December of this year, he just shot an 825 at Blue Mountain Bowl.
So yeah, does a lot of his bowling there. Blue Mountain Bowl bowls a lot of tournaments. You've seen them a lot of times in our action heating telecasts out of Motion Plus Lanes. And bowlers, if you haven't gotten your entry in for the Motion Plus Lanes alternate shot doubles on Saturday, January 17th, by the time you see this, it might be too late. Make sure you give Kerry Catania a call at Motion Plus to get in on that prestigious doubles event.
Limited field with 16 lanes, so you're right, sign up now.
Yep, and Samantha Kelly gets her team 3 in a row going into the commercial break for this game. We'll be back with the rest of the second semifinal from Sunset Bowl in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned. Semifinal number 2, all even through 4.5 frames here from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha for the 2014 Wisconsin Mixed Doubles. Both teams working on strings and strikes, and Ashley Bell stepping up for her team on lane 4 here at Sunset Bowl.
Yeah, definitely a close match as expected.
See, well opened in that setup, gets that shoulder back a little bit to help her stay loose through the swing.
Kind of fell off that shot just a little bit at release, and did not make her cat Brewer happy on that. But at least she did not leave a split. But she knows taps are not as bad as an open, but it's going to cost your team pins, especially when your opponents are striking.
Yeah. They were working on 3 in a row before Ashley's 4 pin here. Samantha Kelly, Eric Fritton working on their own 3-bagger right now. Leaves Kelly and Fritton up by 1 pin with plenty to build on that 3 in a row. And 2013-14 Collegiate All-American Nick Kremel stepping up on lane 3.
Nick's favorite pro bowler, past or present, Ryan Greenwood.
one of his UW Whitewater teammates. We get some pretty interesting answers back on these bio sheets we get from bowlers sometimes on who their favorite pros are. No doubt about that. Such as for Eric Fritton, his favorite pro bowler, who was out on tour for a while back 5 or 6 seasons ago, Chad Ploss.
Well, Chad's a lot of bowlers' favorite bowler.
Chad, we've seen plenty of times in our telecasts as well over the years. He won the Straight Shot Open up in Neenah at Classic Lanes Fox Valley back in October, as you saw here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, and 4 in a row now for Team Fritton and Kelly.
Yeah, this is a different game some of these youngsters play than what you and I play at times. But the power, the speed, the revs.
Well, when Tony Roventini is your old man on the show at 44 years old, I mean, right now, 5 of the 8 bowlers we have on TV today are in their 20s.
Right.
Just shows you how these young guns are really learning the game early, focusing on learning how their equipment reacts, what drillings work for them, and getting out to these tournaments and not being donators and taking a lot of money from these old guard bowlers.
Well, but, you know, the youth has a little more desire at times to win because they want to prove themselves and show they got what it takes.
And right there, Samantha Kelly proving on her team's 5 in a row that she's here to play and gets that lead out. 21 pins for her team. Once again, 10 back. She's packed the pocket. All 3 shots she's had so far in that land.
And she has a real nice game, nice and low and solid. And I mean, that's what bowlers should really strive for, is being solid at the foul line, and lower is typically better for leverage. But again, Eric is reasonably straight-legged at release, and he definitely has no shortage of power.
And that's just real quick getting through the ball out to the right, and on this pattern doesn't have a chance of coming back. Maybe on your house shot it would have came back a little bit, but a little easier spare, I think, with the 1, 2, and 8 instead of just the 2, 8 right now for her as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Ashley knows that one got away from her. And I mean, it's her only errant shot, but again, her cat will still love her when she's done bowling. And
I'm sure Nick will too. Nick and Ashley are dating, and they've been dating for a while. You can see they're talking things over. It's not easy bowling with spouses or girlfriends. I mean, we've seen it with Ryan Zagar and Katie Zwiefelhoff for now, with Ashley and Nick here, and Tony Roventini, great partner he has with his wife Rochelle, who we saw win the Action Alternate Shot Doubles last year. And once again, this tournament, bowling with a different partner. Right. So sometimes it's good to mix things up.
I agree. I mean, there can be a totally different set of pressure on both people when they're husband and wife, and there's no need for that.
No.
There's plenty of other bowlers that would gladly bowl with you.
Absolutely. Well, if you have a resume like Tony, you or I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I mean, we're lucky to get our wives to bowl with us, even with our resumes. We could find other quality bowlers out there as well. And Nick Crummell keeps his team in the match with another strike.
You know, I hadn't seen Nick bowl in a while since the last time we was on a show, and boy, his game is looking scary good here. Every ball finishing right behind the 5-pin, and I see no weakness.
No, I mean, you look at what Nick's doing, what Ryan Zagar's done here, and you know, these young kids can get out there. They could go to a PBA regional right now and give regional pros a run for their money, no doubt about that. Eric Fritton keeps his team striking. 6 in a row for that team, extending that lead out to 31 pins. And once again, I want to thank the support of Bowlers Pro Shop. Joey, once again, thanks for everything. Any after Christmas sales coming up this season?
Well, plenty of before and after Christmas sales, as we do every year, and we may be doing another Storm-sponsored clinic, matchmaker clinic, in the end of January. So visit our website for details at www.bpsmilwaukee, all one word, .com. For details.
Yeah, and there's always usually a pretty good touring pro there. The last couple of years, Wes Millett, I believe, was one of them last season, I know for sure.
Yes, we are working on either Pete Weber or Jason Belmonte.
Aha. Could be Belmo's second trip to Wisconsin over the last few months, especially with that great outing they had at Castle Lanes back in October.
He will be here for a number of tournaments in our fine state.
Yes, indeed. We do have the PBA running the Mark Roth Marshall Holman doubles and the Touring Players Championship at AMF Bolero at the end of January. If you want to see the scheduling on that, go to pba.com and check out when the Pro Tour will be back in Milwaukee, along with the USBC Masters up in Green Bay the first week of February. And Ashley Bell, leaving an outside chance for her team.
Carried the light mix, and that deserves a little pizza break at the end, as Ashley lists pizza as one of her outside interests. And I'm very interested in pizzas as well.
Absolutely.
It's fun comparing different types of pizza.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we've got our great sponsor, Barbiers at Mark Dempsey. We've got Scott Stoltz, who's bowled on a couple of our telecasts, is a manager at Ned's Pizza. So, all kinds of good pizza. I'm kind of partial to Barbiers, I got to admit.
Well, I mean, they're both real good, and even homemade pizzas. I experiment on the grill now and then, and it's just one of our many vices.
Yes, indeed. And Nick Kremel, unfortunately, this 369's got him grilled to the end of this match here, and even with the conversion, yeah, it would have been almost impossible to win. That leaves him at 214, and yeah, that's winner chicken dinner for Samantha Kelly and Eric Fritton going off to the championship match here, and they still have room to shoot 280 this game. Well, as always, $300 awarded by Essential Bowling Concepts if we do get a 300 game on the telecast. A couple of seasons back here at Sunset Bowl on this very pair, Paul Kaboski had a 299, leaving a 10 pin on the last shot. And I wonder if Samantha's going to be asking Eric for any money here after leaving that 2 pin if Eric goes off the sheet. Hashtag someone owes me half of 300.
I'm sure Eric will take care of it. Let's watch his steps, how many he takes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 steps to the line, really gets those shoulders open through the swing, closes them back up, getting through the shot. And interesting final match. 2 lefties, one lefty on each team, being the male, 1 female righty on each team. Female from Illinois, male from Wisconsin. There's no way to call a favorite at all in that championship match.
So will the lefties be on the same lane, possibly causing transition, or not?
I don't think so. I mean, I think if I'm Fritton and Kelly, I'm not going anywhere. And they're going to have choice of lanes getting into that championship match as the higher seed from qualifying. We'll see what happens when we get back with that championship match from Sunset Bowl in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away yet. Lots more bowling to come. Barbiere's Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Bluemont Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee. Why do we have so many of our televised tournaments at Castle Lanes? Because we love being part of the wild side of bowling. If you're ready to get in touch with your wild side, go to castlelanes.com. All right, bowling fans, we waited all day for it. The championship match here from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha, the 2014 Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship. And all 4 bowlers are going to be on the lanes they bowled their semifinal matches on. So the lefties will be apart from each other, the righties will be apart from each other. Something tells me this could be a very high-scoring match, Joey.
Yeah, but, Fritton and Kelly shooting 280, why change anything? And, so if our viewers are wondering, how do you get to be as good as Samantha Kelly at age 24? She began bowling at age 3, so she's a 21-year veteran.
6 for 6 so far. The only blemish on Team Kelly and Fritton was Eric's little bit of a high 8-pin he had in the second frame of his semifinal game. And, you can't count Natalie Cortez and Tony Rovatini short here. 257 for their semifinal game as well.
Yeah, but 257 may not get it done in the finals.
And there's just a bad break for Natalie there. Lots of stuff dancing around that 7-pin. Nothing knocks it down. And other than her first frame open, last game, one little bit of a stone 8-pin. The only blemishes on Team Cortez Roventini in their semifinal match.
Now, during qualifying, you said scores were down a little bit earlier in our show. They moved pairs every game.
They moved pairs every game, but even the first game, lots of games in the 170s, 180s, 190s where they were practicing on that pair, getting in their warm-up shots and staying there. And sometimes, bowlers crossing paths with each other. You have all the varied styles, especially men and women bowling on the same pair. Gave everybody a little bit of trouble with You'd see a double or a three-bagger and then a spare, and something distracting Tony there. He's looking, and I think he said a bug or something flew in front of him there. Well, it's kind of unusual to find bugs in bowling centers, especially in December as we tape this. Must have been a snowflake. Must have been a Christmas Tinkerbell, a Christmas elf. I don't know.
Only Tony knows.
Get himself refocused here. Well back in the approach, gets his 5 steps out there. Very straight-legged at the line, same style he's had for years.
Yeah, looks pretty much locked in, just like previous game.
Yeah, Tony's 6 for 7 so far on his strike attempts on that lane. And I don't know if you gave Eric a little warning to watch out for dive bombs or something. Eric taking his time getting up on the approach. 6 out of 7 strikes for him. The first game.
This is the frame he did not carry in his last match to shoot the 280 game. Let's see if he makes an adjustment, and
he was a little wide on that shot. It looked
soft
like
7-pin, not something Eric sees too often.
No, I think he just got a little wide, and the ball didn't have enough time to face all the way up to the pocket. And not a heck of a lot of deflection there, but when you're coming in at that angle, it's easy to get that 4-pin to just lay in the gutter.
More deflection than what he typically sees, and you know, sometimes it's just a slight different hand position. Ball comes off a little bit different, changes the roll of the core slightly, and you go from exploding hitting power to weak hitting power.
Changes that polyester bowling ball to get that spare, cut that hook way down. No problem with that. And that's one thing Eric doesn't get enough credit for. You see him flying pins across the deck, throwing strikes. And he is a great spare shooter. He's really worked in a spare game over the last 4 or 5 years, and I know that's really made a difference for him. Tournament bowling, making sure his spare rate is way up there.
One of his best friends is Chad Kloss, and I'm sure Chad has stressed the importance of being a great spare shooter to Eric. And you know, you're right, Eric throws plenty of strikes, so he's not leaving as many as some, but when he does, he definitely converts.
Sam Kelly, perfect so far on her lane through 6 shots, looking to be 7 for 7, which she does there. And wow, when you're talking a bowler that's locked in right now, there haven't been too many shots for Sam that's been any doubt all 10 are going in the pit. Nothing light, nothing tripping 4-pins. It's just been high flush.
She's doing it the way she was taught from Dad Mark and Mother Lori Kelly.
So Natalie Cortez, another strike for her. She's got a couple of our women's trios televised event titles under her belt. And a couple-time collegiate All-American during her college career as well. The pressure's on. Strikes are getting thrown everywhere, and now it's up to Tony to keep his team in this match.
Taking a little extra time on this one, it looks like.
Little stick at the line. You see quick stepping out of it and lucky to get that 7 to kick out in the pit.
Smooth stroke, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Focusing all the way through your target, even if your foot sticks a little bit, if you get that ball off your hand, as clean as you do in your other shots, odds are, on that target line, you'll still get that carry. Well, Eric Fritton looking to get his team a double here to stay close in this championship match here from Sunset Bowl.
Eric's favorite PBA bowler, past or present, Chad Kloss.
Absolutely. Chad out here in the crowd still cheering him on. Bowled with Kim Kenny today. Unfortunately, Eric and Natalie bumped out Chad and Kim to make the TV show. Another great showing for Kim Kenny. She just missed our televised finals at the Wisconsin Women's Open as well with a 5th place finish. So a couple of great tournaments for, I guess you could say, the best Kenny. I know her ex-husband Rob bowls a lot of our events, but Kim's been the best Kenny for a couple of tournaments now.
Well, for a couple of tournaments. Rob is pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
Subs in our Monday night Flat Earth League, uses a lot of urethane. Always has preferred to use older technology so you can kind of control the lane and pocket a little bit more. And that's her first bad shot of the match, tripping a 4.
Trips the 4. We're going to get to our commercial break for this championship match. Join us back from Sunset Bowl in just a couple of minutes for the rest of this championship. Another all-even match here after 4.5 frames at Sunset Bowl in Waukesha, the Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship. And Natalie Cortez stepping up with her team, working on 3 in a row here on lane 4.
Well, it's money time now, the second half of the match. She knows every shot, very critical.
And she leaked that one out just a little bit to the right, and you could see as the ball tried to work back to the pocket, a little bit of extra oil on this Kegel middle road pattern. Doesn't let the ball get aggressively back like it would on a league-type pattern.
Right, and there are oil patterns that may favor Natalie's style. Today's pattern, not as much. You can see that the heavier-handed player is definitely having a good look. Whereas the stroker on this pattern, ball doesn't quite go through the pins as well as you'd like to see it. And lo and behold, a missed spare.
Yeah, that is not good against a team that's as hot as Samantha Kelly and Eric Fritton right now. And that gives Kelly Fritton a 13-pin advantage sitting on the bench with Tony Roventini stepping up on lane 3. And Tony's not missed the pocket all day. Great
I don't
career
think Tony's
percentage.
missed the pocket this year. So. Can't remember, he is a left-handed bowler, and he does have skills.
Yeah, and him and his wife, Rochelle, will be defending that action alternate shot doubles title in January. You'll see that in February. Thanks to our friends here at Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. And highest scoring match we've ever had on TV, 279 to 278 over Kyle Gertzen and Mike Jamrose. And that was our match of the year this year, no doubt about that. Eric Fritton and his team on 3 in a row, looking for that 4th one and really take control of this match. Aggressively threw that shot, splits the 8 and the 9 perfectly.
Yeah, he knows they can put it away early and give the opponents no chance at a comeback, even if they open in the last frame or two. So they're just going to keep pouring it on.
And if you're looking for something to help improve your game in the new year, you just saw the ad there for Eileen's Bowling Buddy. They have some great training aids you can use in the privacy of your own home or out on the lanes to help improve things. I use the orb, power orb, to train and get loose before bowling, and boy, it's helped me. I'm up 10 pins in one house this year, and both my averages together almost over 220. So, and I'm not that good of a bowler, ladies and gentlemen, but Eileen's Bowling Buddies definitely helped me out. You should check them out at eileensbowlingbuddy.com. Sam got a little spinny with that when you were saying there, Joey, in the booth. I saw the motion.
Well, sure. And, speaking of Eileen's, we've got the ball bearing gizmo that can show players different axis rotations. We've used it at our shop numerous times to help our customers learn what it's like to come around the ball and come up from behind the ball, change your roll. And it's a great learning tool.
Absolutely. All the great stuff we have from Eileen's Bowling Buddy. And Natalie gets a big break there. Trips that 4-pin. The high hard one, she made a definite adjustment from leaving that weak 10 that caused her to open in the 5th frame.
Well, they're not going to just go down without her trying here. And she knows that open really kind of hurt the team a little bit, so she's trying to make amends.
257 maximum here for Roventini and Cortez. So far from over. All it would take is another non-strike from Kelly and Fritton to even up this match. If Roventini can keep striking. Well balanced at the line and splits the 8 and the 9 perfectly.
Yeah, it's like free strikes in the frames Tony's up. You just mark them up ahead of time.
Yeah, and Tony's only, you can't even say errant shot because it was the fill ball of the first game. Other than that, everything's been pretty well high flush in the pocket.
Yeah, he's making the older crowd proud. And
He is-
Tony, by older,
44. He's
44.
our old-timer on the show today.
but he is the old timer. The salted veteran.
Eric Fritton looking to see if he can get his team 5 in a row here in this, and he does.
Now that was scary.
6 in a row in the 8th frame, pardon me.
That obliterated the pins and just created a vortex and sucked the pins off the deck. And Eric knows that's one of his best shots right there.
I think rev rate wise, I think Eric Fritton could give somebody like a Jason Belmonte a run for their money, counting the revs going down lane.
Yeah, no question there. But you still got to put it in the right spot. You got to read the transition. You got to understand your equipment nowadays. It's not just high rev rate.
Sam Kelly, 9 for 9 so far. Boy, I feel bad we can't give her any type of award if she gets this strike. She could be perfect on the day on TV if she can carry this one and practically lock up the match for her team. How about that high flush? That is just clutch performance right there by Samantha Kelly.
My guess is she may want a copy of this show to show her kids and her grandkids in later years.
Oh yeah, friends and family, absolutely. She knew that one all the way. You could see the intensity on her face, on her partner's face coming back, getting that high five, and no soft high five from her partner Eric Fritton there.
Well, Chad taught him that. If you're going to give a high five, you give a high five.
Needs to, yeah, you can just tell that ball skated a little bit more.
And Natalie knows that's the one part of her game she needs to kind of focus on is creating a little bit more power on the release. But, I mean, she's got a great physical game, very consistent.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even with a conversion here and a strikeout by Tony Roventini, it's just get to the foul line and get a good count for Eric Fritton to lock up this Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship here at Sunset Bowl.
So we could see back-to-back 280 games.
We could see back-to-back 280 games, and you know, as we mentioned in the second semifinal, a perfect game would have been a $300 award from Essential Bowling Concepts. So I think Samantha Kelly really going to be building her case to get some of this $1,000 first place prize check from Eric Fritton if Eric strikes out in the 10th frame and gets them another 280. Not a bad day though for Tony Roventini, Natalie Cortez splitting a $700 second place check. Not bad for one day's work here at Sunset Bowl. And
I'll have to ask Tony, is this ever get old Tony just throwing all these strikes? But he did tell me once, many years ago, and Tony may even remember this, that he is a rhythm player. When he's out of rhythm, not so good, but when he's in a rhythm, he's hard to beat. And I think a lot of players can be that way.
Absolutely. And, you know, second place last year with Lindsey Siegel, second place this year with Natalie Cortez. I wonder if he's going to pull Rochelle out next year to try to win the championship. They've already proved they can win championships with the Action Alternate Shot Doubles title they have from last season.
I'm sure Tony knows you're only as good as your last shot, and that was not a good shot, Tony, so back to the drawing board.
Let's see if he gives us a ride here in the 10th frame. And oh, he just said this one's for TV. So he's going to give this one a ride here. Let's see what happens. Any odds on this if he makes it?
I'd give him 8-1 on this.
All right. I'd say you're right about there with
Pete
that.
Weber, I'd give 2-1.
Oh,
Look, I would have lost $80 to his 10. Nice shot, Tony.
Way to go, Tony. Told the crowd he was going to make that one for TV, and hey, that's a heck of a spare there, the old 3-4-6-10. Cap off a great day for his team, even though it's a second place finish behind Eric Fritton and Samantha Kelly. Looking to get 280 here, and Eric's just locked in. How much does he want both those second frames back?
Now, if they would have shot back-to-back 300 games, would that have been $600?
Would have been $600. Absolutely. Like I said, I think Samantha's going to be looking for a little bit extra out of that $1,000 check once they're done today.
Maybe Eric may ask you just for, how about $280 since we shot 280 pins down?
There wouldn't be as much. You know, you can see he's nice and loose here. I think there'd be a little more pressure on these shots in the 10th frame if that 300 was still out there. And the only 300 we've ever had on TV here at Time Warner Cable Sports Channel was at the Action Alternate Shot Doubles tournament. So it was pretty unique where Dave Gajewski had to get up in the 11th shot on the frame. He had him bowled on the entire game to get that strike, so Tony Buss could finish it off on the 12th shot for $300. Looking for that 280 one more time. How about it? 10 back. Great bowling today by Samantha Kelly and Eric Fritton. We're going to come back and wrap up this Wisconsin Championship Mixed Doubles from Sunset Bowl in Waukesha in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned. Providing premier equipment sales and services to Wisconsin bowlers since 1973. Check out our Wall of Fame and our current specials at bpsmilwaukee.com.
Well, Joey, these bowlers out there today for the Wisconsin Mixed Doubles Championship took a pretty tough pattern with Kegel's Middle Road and made it look like it was a house pattern. Lots of good bowling out there by everybody, but your most valuable bowler of the day has to be Samantha Kelly.
Oh, without question. I mean, it's all about matching up in today's game, and she was matched up from the beginning, made great shots through the matches, got a lot of strikes.
Yeah, a perfect 10 for 10 for Sam. The only blemishes on both those 280 games came from Eric Fritton, and they weren't bad balls in either one of them. A kind of high 8-pin and a little bit of a weak 7.
Right, and otherwise Eric was perfect. I mean, we saw what players like to see, a lot of strikes being thrown today.
Great bowling. Our champions today, Samantha Kelly, Eric Fritton. I'm sure they'll be back next year defending their title here at Sunset Bowl. We're done with the adults for a while. We're getting back to high school bowling, and they're right in the middle of their season now. Our next tournament, the High School Mixed Doubles Classic, a similar format to today. That's going to be coming to you from Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy on our next show. So for my friend Joe Serrar, see him for all your bowling needs at Bowlers Pro Shop. I'm Phil Brylow. Parents, take the kids bowling, the fun for life, and we'll see you on the next show from Motion Plus Lanes.